The only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. These words, spoken by Edmund Burke centuries ago, ring truer today than ever before. We find ourselves at a crossroads in history. The forces of globalization, with their disregard for national sovereignty and individual liberty, are tightening their grip. They seek to control every aspect of our lives, what we think, what we say, even what we eat. But the human spirit, like a flame, cannot be so easily extinguished. Across the globe, from the heartland of America to the streets of Europe, a fire is being kindled. People are waking up. This is no time for the faint of heart. This is a time for courage, for conviction, for a resolute defense of our values. The globalists, barricaded in their ivory towers, believe they have won. They underestimate the will of the people, the enduring strength of nations, and the unyielding desire for freedom that burns in the hearts of patriots all over the world. They will soon realize their error. The fight will be long, and the road will be fraught with challenges. But victory, though it may come at a cost, is not in doubt. For on this side of history, on the side of freedom, stands something far greater than any globalist scheme: the indomitable spirit of free men and women, united in their determination to chart their own destiny. The globalists may have money and power, but we have something far more potent: the courage of our convictions, and that is something they can never take from us. The globalist agenda is insidious, advancing under the guise of progress and cooperation. Don't be fooled. This is about power. Power concentrated in the hands of unelected bureaucrats, unaccountable to the people they seek to rule. They preach tolerance while silencing dissent. They demand diversity while crushing individuality. Their goal is a world without borders, without nations, without the very freedoms our ancestors fought and died to secure. We see their agenda at work in the halls of the United Nations, where unelected officials push radical environmental policies that cripple economies and erode national sovereignty. We see it in the pronouncements of global banking institutions demanding austerity measures that impoverish the working class while enriching the elite. And we see it in the rise of big tech censorship, where dissenting voices are silenced and deplatformed for daring to challenge the prevailing orthodoxy. This is not about left versus right. This is about control versus freedom. The globalists, with their woke ideology and their disdain for traditional values, believe they know better than the people. They believe they have the right to dictate our lives, to control our thoughts, and to mold our future in their image. They are wrong. The future belongs to those who will stand up and fight for it. Fortunately, the fight against globalization is not being waged in the shadows. All over the world, courageous leaders are emerging, men and women who understand the threat we face and who are willing to stand against the tide. These are the champions of freedom. They are the voices of the people, the defenders of national sovereignty, and the protectors of individual liberty. In the United States, Donald Trump, despite facing relentless attacks from the media and the political establishment, showed the world that a leader who puts his country first can achieve extraordinary things. His America First agenda resonated with millions of Americans who were tired of seeing their jobs shipped overseas and their values trampled upon. In El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, a millennial president unafraid to challenge the status quo, is taking on the corrupt elites and restoring law and order to his nation. His bold economic reforms and his crackdown on gang violence have made him a beacon of hope in a region plagued by instability. And in Argentina, Javier Milei, a charismatic economist, is challenging socialist orthodoxy and offering a message of free markets and individual liberty. His fiery rhetoric and his unwavering commitment to economic freedom have inspired a new generation of Argentines hungry for change. These leaders, each in their own way, are showing the world that the globalist agenda is not inevitable. They are proof that courage, conviction, and a willingness to stand up for what is right can make a difference. They are the tip of the spear in the fight against globalization, and their example is inspiring others to join the fight. Section 4. Europe Awakens. For years, Europe has been seen as a bastion of globalism, a continent where national borders were fading and where a supranational bureaucracy reigned supreme. But the tide is turning. Across Europe, from the streets of Paris to the heart of Eastern Europe, people are waking up to the dangers of unfettered globalism. They are rediscovering their national identities, rejecting the dictates of Brussels, and demanding a return to sovereignty. The rise of nationalist parties across Europe is not a sign of xenophobia or intolerance, as the mainstream media would have you believe. It is a sign that people are fed up with being ignored, with having their values denigrated, and with being ruled by unelected bureaucrats who are out of touch with their concerns. They want leaders who will put their interests first, who will protect their borders, and who will defend their cultural heritage. In France, Marine Le Pen has emerged as a powerful voice for the concerns of ordinary French citizens who feel left behind by globalization and who are worried about the erosion of French culture and identity. In Italy, Giorgia Meloni's victory is a testament to the growing desire for a strong and independent Italy that is not beholden to the dictates of Brussels. And in Hungary, Viktor Orban has shown that it is possible to stand up to the globalist agenda and chart an independent course based on national interests and traditional values. The globalists may dismiss these movements as populist uprisings, but they are wrong. This is a fundamental realignment of European politics, a rejection of the failed policies of the past, and a demand for a new way forward. The peoples of Europe are reclaiming their sovereignty, and they will not be denied. Section 5. The Energy Delusion. One of the most insidious aspects of the globalist agenda is the push for radical environmental policies under the guise of combating climate change. These policies, often based on flawed science and driven by ideological agendas, are having a devastating impact on economies around the world, particularly in the West. They are driving up energy costs, destroying jobs, and making it harder for families to make ends meet. The truth is, there is no climate emergency. The science is far from settled, and the apocalyptic predictions of climate alarmists have been consistently wrong. Yet the globalists continue to push their agenda, using fear and propaganda to silence dissent and impose their will on the people. They demand that we sacrifice our prosperity, our freedoms, and even our way of life on the altar of climate change, all while exempting themselves from the very rules they seek to impose on everyone else. This is not about saving the planet. This is about control. The globalists see climate change as a tool to advance their agenda, to redistribute wealth, erode national sovereignty, and usher in a new era of global governance. They want to control every aspect of our lives, from the cars we drive to the food we eat, all in the name of saving the planet. We must resist this dangerous delusion. We need to embrace sensible environmental policies that protect our environment without destroying our economies. We need to invest in innovation and technology that will lead to cleaner and more efficient sources of energy. And we need to stand up to the climate alarmists and their allies in the media and the political establishment who are trying to scare us into submission. The future of our planet depends on it.